What was it like being in MetLife Monday night, Robert?
Man, Rich, I said this on First Take yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
The energy in the stadium before the game was unmatched. I don't think I've ever seen anything like that. Aaron Rodgers had never played a snap for the New York Jets. He had his entire career in Green Bay, and it felt like every single Jets fan was locked in and in tune with this man and announced his name on the speaker. So to see that all dissipate in 4 plays was crushing, and I'm a guy that I like to see everybody succeed. I want these guys to fulfill their dreams. And I know Aaron Rodgers wanted to go to New York and do something that Brett Favre couldn't. And to see it just go away like that, it was tough. So it made me think, Rich, what's next for Aaron Rodgers? Is he going to just call it a career? Is he going to ride off into the sunset? And I don't think that's what he's going to do. I think he's going to want to end his career on his own terms. I think he's going to fight back and prove that at 39, 40 years old, he can come back from an Achilles injury and he can go win a Super Bowl. Now, I don't know if that's all going to happen, but I think that's what his mindset is going to be. I've even heard he's reaching out to people on Instagram in the DMs, asking them about advice about Achilles injuries. So he's clearly focused on getting back out there playing.
Okay, and Zach Wilson is the guy now. I think that's apparent because at this point in time, I imagine the Jets called Brady, and I imagine the Jets kicked the tires with some Godfather offers for some legit quarterback starting elsewhere in the NFL. It's just too early. No teams are going to pull the plug on their locker room or their fan bases right now. So this is Zach Wilson's gig for at least a month, one would say, until maybe other teams get desperate. What do you think the odds are that he actually is a game manager that can get the Jets through this crucible, starting with Dallas on Sunday?
Yeah, I mean, come on now, Rich. That Dallas game, that's a tough one to have your first start of the season. But when you bring all that up, I'm on TV with guys that are talking about they got to go trade for Matthew Stafford and, hey, let's pull Matt Ryan out of retirement. Go get Philip Rivers or Drew Brees or, even some people out there thought I was pitching myself to the Jets, which I wasn't pitching myself to the Jets. I was just saying there's guys out there who can play. None of us, myself included, are going to go in and be able to help the Jets beat the Cowboys more than Zach Wilson can. Any guy off the street or from any other team that they bring in is going to take at least a month to get acclimated to the system, to the team, the camaraderie. Because, Rich, football is more than just ability, right? We see Cam Newton's out there. Cam Newton and Colin Kaepernick, and I'm sure Carson Wentz are better than some of the quarterbacks that are on teams right now. That's without a doubt. Whether you like them or not, they're top 64 quarterbacks in the world. They could be in the league, but they're not in the league because they can be somewhat of a distraction if you have a starter with a high-profile backup behind them. But none of those guys will help the Jets win this year. It's Zach Wilson's gig. The best thing that he can do is what he did last year when he was protecting the ball at certain points. Now, he has been a turnover. We all have that documented. If the defense comes up and shows up like it did and plays like a number one defense, the special teams is on point, all Zach Wilson has to do is not turn the ball over and be high percentage in the passing game. I saw Breece Hall 2 carries. At one point, he had 2 carries for 109 yards.
That's right.
This team can still win. No one will say they're a Super Bowl contender because they don't believe in Zach Wilson. But I still believe that if they play the way they played against the Bills, which is a big ask, it's a big ask. But if they play that way, they can still win the Super Bowl.
Well, and I saw the sequence on ESPN where folks were saying you were pitching yourself to the Jets. You were talking about how some executives had told you that they would actually consider bringing you in if it wasn't for the fact that the guy that you'd be backing up was either a bit shaky, and thus your presence there might cause some distractions, media maybe in the locker room, or in the fact that that you'd be there as a backup and not to get in there. And that's kind of where things would be unless they brought in Stafford, right? But executives basically did tell you that if you come in, that this might be an issue, so we're just not going to reach out to you? That happened, Robert?
No. So, Rich, first of all, yes, it was. And it was 3 executives, to be exact, for anybody out there that doubts me. 3 executives talked to me and told me that they were in, but they believed because the guy that they had at the starting position, it would not be good for him because of the eyes that would be there. Now, Rich, I'm going to be honest with you. I told them, look at what I did with Lamar Jackson in Baltimore. Was never a distraction, supported my guy, was there for him when he was the MVP of the league, unanimous MVP. Yeah. When we went on a tear there at Baltimore and ran for the most rushing yards in the dang galaxy, right? I talked to them about that. And they were honest. They said, we get that and we understand that, but our fans don't. We get that, we understand that, but our media doesn't get that. And that's an honest conversation that you can have when you're a player like myself at 33 years old who's now been doing TV for 2.5 years. There is no cookie cutter or, beating around the bush. You get right straight to it. So I respected those GMs for talking to me in that way and letting me know what was up. But they also said, look, if one of our guys goes down, then, for sure we would make bringing you in that situation. So I was just trying to reiterate that, and not trying. That's exactly what I reiterated. And there were some, Twitter trolls out there that want to cut pieces and edit them and try to make people look a certain type of way. But at the end of the day, the message is simple. Zach Wilson gives the Jets the best chance to win. No one else is going to come save the Jets. And if the Jets don't accept that, they should have never kept Zach Wilson on their roster. They should have never kept him on the roster if this exact moment was going to happen and they didn't have trust in him. They shouldn't have put him there. And I think they do have trust.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.